Well, here we go, folks. The first of the year, the backpack is back out, and our first overnight adventure is well underway. This is gonna be a good one. I hope you guys stick with this. Backpacking season is officially upon us, folks, and after much dusting, I stuffed in and cinched down entirely too much gear, but that meant it was time to have one final call to nail down every single detail. Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
After 2 successful outings in the past few months, Matt and I were looking to roll the dice one more time and make the third time truly the charm. But before we did, we had a few things we still needed to discuss. This is like the first full send of the year for me.
Yeah? When did you go to the Gila last time? I was watching your videos a while ago.
So, that was May. That was like mid-May. Like Matt had mentioned, I made my way down to the Gila in late May of 2021 for my very first shot at the rare and beautiful Gila trout. Even though I had to dodge wildfires and claw my way out of a really nasty canyon, I managed to find a fair amount of fish and have an incredible trip. And the second time I was in the Gila, it was just a day trip, but my God was it a grind. In total, I did 16 miles on the day for one shot at one fish. And don't get me wrong, it was well worth it, but fighting early spring conditions and a sizable hike, it certainly made it interesting. But all in all, this was going to be my third and final trip into the Gila National Forest, and by every metric, I have barely scraped the surface of this place. And even though those other Gila adventures were wild, this one was sizing up to be quite a bit different in more ways than one.
Because we're going to be hiking to the fort pretty much.
Yeah.
That's where that cabin, I think, is at. And then do you want to hike upriver or downriver? I think it's going to be a big creek. Just based on the satellite imaging alone.
Yeah.
The satellite images can't be too old, so...
It's funny, this is an adventure that I've had marked, but never really had the gusto to do, just because it is really out of the way, like, truth be told.
Uh-huh.
And
It is.
like doing a solo trip, 4.5 hours down, it's like, I could just go to the Rio and catch browns if I want to. But
Yeah.
having a buddy and having a little bit of a better game plan, and it kind of being like one of the last trips, it's like, let's freaking do this, you know? This is very exciting. It was easy to get excited when that phone was hung up, but when that morning alarm sounded off at 2 a.m., it took me more than a few cups of coffee to rekindle that same feeling. But once I did, I swung by Matt's place right around 3 a.m. in the hopes of making it there in good time. We were staring down the barrel of a 4-hour drive due south, and I gotta say, it was nice knowing I had a certified New Mexican riding shotgun. Matt, he grew up and went to school down in this area, so no GPS was required, and the first few hours of the drive melted away in the dashboard light as Matt told stories of his past and pointed out landmarks that had significance in earlier chapters of his youth. And these stories, they would only be interrupted by the occasional brake check for elk herds or a pit stop for gas. And a few close calls had me wishing for more fuel pumps along the way and a lot less 600-pound truck torpedoes eating breakfast in the shoulder. But eventually, we strolled on by with no real issues and let out a heavy sigh when we slid into an empty trailhead parking lot.
All right, brother, we made it. Let's go. About to get our hike on.
Final gear checks and stiff back stretchers were well underway while the sun slowly crawled across the sharp scrub of the Gila horizon. All that was left to do was to send goodbye texts, maybe grab a quick snack, and scribble away in the trail logbook. My final adventure in New Mexico was now well underway.
Let's see who's been here. Is this 423 today?
Today is the 23rd, yep.
Cool.
For most folks, passing this sign might have been the only omen needed to turn around and head home. But Matt and I both figured this is what we had signed up for. Through all the research we had done leading up to this trip, this hike was classified, and I quote, as strenuous and difficult. So as we made our way up the whole Apache Trail, we hoped for the best as we followed the morning light into the heart of the Gila National Forest. And we followed the incline for a few miles, only stopping occasionally to soak in the views or to shed layers to avoid soaking up the sweat. The day was still very young, but we could already feel the thermals on our face, threatening to make this a rather warm day. Rounding the bend, we made it to the fork. This is where the Holt Apache Trail continues up the mountain and Johnson's Cabin Trail drops into the canyon. We paused for a moment to survey the area and later found out that this was the home of the Sheridan Corral. Kind of helps explain the name of the trailhead. This is where the animals would rest, feed, and guzzle down precious water coming off the Holt Spring higher up in the mountain before they had to haul in all the mining equipment deeper into the canyon. But with time being a premium in the race against the sun, we had to leave the corral and start the switchback section on the Johnson's Cabin Trail.
Okay, so we're pushing at 9:30. If we can get down this gnarly switchback section by 10, get camp set up, maybe grab a quick lunch.
Yes, sir.
We just gotta keep this pace going.
Oh yeah.
We're not gonna have too much time to fish.
It took considerable effort, but we finally made it up and off the switchbacks and onto the crest. From this point, the trail got increasingly rugged.
Yeah. Think this is what they mean when the trail's not maintained?
Yeah.
Meandering our way down Holt Mountain was not exactly easy, and because of this, I didn't get all that much footage. Trying to pay attention to the thinning trail while soaking up the surroundings about killed me on a few occasions. But with quivering legs, we made it to the North Fork and followed it down to our final destination.
Looks like some people hang out here. Skunk. There's someone's shoes.
Dude, come in here. There's pans. There's tents.
Jesus Christ, shoes too.
There's a pole right there.
Hot God, damn. This is. I don't know how I feel about this.
Think someone's like gonna roll up or
Do you think
what?
someone just leaves their stuff down? I mean, these are all tents that people just have left down here.
I think so. I think this is just stuff that people didn't want to carry.
Whoa, look at all these axes and stuff. That's kind of cool. I don't know. Let's make our base camp somewhere outside of here. At least like drop our stuff.
Okay.
Hang our bear bags. We can hang our bear bags close to here. But I mean, this would be the perfect spot for a fire. This would be the perfect spot to post up and cook. Well, let's get to setting up camp, stashing stuff away. Sit down, enjoy our. We made it, dude. Give me some freaking nucks, dude. This is crazy.
Heck yeah.
This is quite the hike.
This was the hike, man. But this is awesome.
This is really cool.
I think it's the coolest place I've ever seen. And the fact that people left it in here.
I wonder if the Forest Service, maybe they're the ones doing all this. Yeah, dude, this rocks. This rolls.
I think this rolls, man.
As the heart rate settled, so too did the nerves, and slowly but surely, the incredible circumstances of this adventure started to sink in.
Boy, and it's like you got this beautiful field of flowers. I mean, it's like Skunk set it up. I don't know. I guess this is an orchard. I guess these are like some sort of fruit trees. Yeah, you can see there's blossoms over here.
White blossoms covered the canopy, and a wildflower carpet lined the underbrush in this seemingly idyllic desert oasis. I could only imagine what this must look like when the bees finish up their hard work and the blossoms are replaced with juicy apples. So while Matt and I contemplated old Skunk's motives with all these weird permanent fixtures, we continue to unpack and take care of normal camp chores.
It's like, who's Dirty Dan, you know? No, I'm Dirty Dan. I'm Skunk Johnson. I'd like to see a bear get to that. Holy hopper. A big fat hopper. I might have to change up, man. Look at the size of that honking beast.
Oh heck yeah.
I got some just this size. You want to eat them or me?
As we shifted our attention towards fishing, we anxiously got our rigs all put together and undoubtedly overanalyzed our potential approach. I mean, I try to maintain the mindset that backcountry trout shouldn't be too picky about what you throw at them or how you throw it, but that big juicy hopper, that was one of many we saw kicking around in the underbrush, so I couldn't help myself and I had to switch up.
Because of that hopper we saw. Alright, I'm going for it on. I'm gonna put this little fat boy on.
Oh yeah.
Now that we were all rigged up, it was time to tidy the camp and pull ourselves back together. One final thing left to do was to fill up and treat the water bladder for tonight's cooking. And with our backpacks stowed away in the safety of the cabin, we were finally ready to hit the stream. And that cool mountain water seeped into my boots as we stepped foot into the stream that brought us hundreds of miles down south.
Yeah, that looks good too.
It's all you.
You sure? Oh, I just spooked one. Whew.
That's a good size.
That was a good fish, buddy.
That was a good size fish.
I can see him. Wow, he looks amazing. Holy cow.
You see him still?
That was upper. That was in 12s. Easily.
It was a good sign that in our very first hole, we were finding fish, but Matt and I were both shocked at how quickly these fish were taking our flies.
They're quick. What am I doing? I'm being a dangus. They are very quick.
Sneaking up to the next deep pool, I spooked 2 massive trout that were holding way in the back. And despite this, I still managed to garnish a little bit of interest from some of the other pool residents with my plump dry flies. And I couldn't quite tell if it was because of my shaky nerves in a new place or just the excitement of fishing for potentially the biggest trout in the Gila. But regardless, I could not make any of them stick. I managed to miss quite a few more the further upstream we went before I shamefully relinquished control of the rod to Matt in hopes that he could bring a little bit better mojo. But with tight quarters and speedy takes from these wily browns, we were both feeling the Gila growing pains after these first few runs.
Really? Come on. It just seems so perfect. Oh, wow. Oh. Yes, dude, let's go. Holy cow.
Let's go.
Look at that baby right there, buddy. That's the 12-incher we wanted.
Focus in. Oh, wow.
His adipose is cherry.
Yeah, it's... Dude, that's a big brown.
Check out his adipose. Dude. He's got that ant. Just perfect. 8-ball. Corner pocket, baby. I don't think he was going anywhere. Those spots are ridiculous, man. Alright, I'm gonna put him back.
Damn, dude, that's a good fish.
Let's go! That's why we hike as far as we did.
Probably the biggest fish you caught out of the Gila?
Easily, without question. Holy cow.
Holy actual cow. Alright, let's I'll sink him back right into his little cavernous hole.
I mean, come on. Buddy, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm naming you Skunk Johnson. Woo! That's so fantastic, man. All right, let's get you one. That felt good. Thanks, man. Thanks for letting me get my groove back.
It's like rock walls that are probably getting dug under and just forming some deep pools right now. I mean, who knows? It's stuck in the fishing line. Oh, I see them now.
I mean, they're just, do you see them all?
Yeah.
There's so many, and there's that well towards the back, too. They're still holding there, man. Holy shit. Okay, off to your right is a really big fish. He's holding in, do you see him? It's amazing how close we are to these fish. This is hilarious.
Yeah, you see him? He's just telling her.
He is just mad chilling. Twitch it a little bit. Just give it a little bit of twitch. Nah, we might have spooked down. Well, it seems like there are many and there are more.
Oh, look, they're literally, look at them.
There's like 20 in there.
Dude, they're just stacked up, man. They're not even like startled by us.
Nope. We should start a gill netting service and sell brown trout. Dude. We would be rich.
This stream's extremely healthy.
So good. Imagine what a Gila, like if it was a Gila stream.
Oh, dude, this place would be gnarly. They're all browns though. I can see all brown.
We figured there would be a high fish density in this system just because of what we had read throughout our research, but Matt and I had no clue how many fish we were actually going to be finding here. It almost didn't make sense how in each of these runs, these Gila browns were stacked up tight together like a bunch of sardines in a can. And even if we spooked a few, the majority of the time, the rest would just sit there and ignore us as we passed on by. Nice. Oh my gosh. Is this the first Gila brown trout?
Gila brown.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go, man. This is well worth that hike. Well worth it.
Oh my gosh, did he launch that?
Oh, dude.
Hey, did you want that, buddy, or what?
Oh,
wow. Dude, that is so pretty. Look at his spots.
Heck yeah, man. We did it.
Holy shit. Oh, we did.
Skunks off. Skunks off.
Skunks off Johnson, baby.
Skunks off. Yo.
Too good, dude. Too good. This hole is incredible. Shoulders untensed and deep sighs were exchanged now that the pressure of the skunk was no longer sitting heavy on our minds. Everything else on the day would be pure Gila gravy. I think I had 2 bites. I had a double there.
Good size.
Yeah, not bad.
Not a bad one.
You can kind of tell, but he's got a little bit of what they call marbling or marble, like, or no, I guess it's zebra stripes. Like he's a little blotchy. You can kind of tell there's some dark spots and some light spots. But I'd be interested to know what strain of brown this is, because those more like zebra type, they hail from like Spain and the Mediterranean, which is kind of neat.
Awesome, dude. That looks...
All right, ready for a crystal clear release? Woo.
Oh, you get out of there. There you go.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's go, dude. Not bad, not bad.
Heck yeah, man.
I guess we should show the lovely folks at home what we're catching them on. Been kind of, I don't know if struggling would be the right word, but these fish are biting really fast, and so we sized down a little bit. This is a, looks like a caddis emerger, and then we've got another caddis on the back. These could be anything. They could be beetles, they could be crickets. It's just a pretty general dry fly pattern. They're not all that picky, but they're being fast, and that's why we sized down a little bit. See if we can get them, I don't know, a little more aggressively, but it seems to be working, so yeah. I don't know if you can see with the glare, but there's just another stack of like 10 or 12 just like right there. And then some more like bopping around in between.
Well, they kind of seem to like this. Like I can see them all. There's like
So there's
10
stacked up in there. It's crazy. Holy cow. There's just so many. Like I was saying before, everything's just so sharp. Everything is just, it's so harsh. I'd be interested, I bet we haven't gone more than a mile as the river flows. It should just pull off. It's on a magnet. It's on a magnet. It should just pull off. Oh, I got it.
Oh, God, look at the adipose on these guys.
So fired up, man. So yeah. Very nice, man.
Heck yeah.
Let's freaking go. Yeah, sleeping in the shelter certainly gives us a little bit more leeway as far as time goes.
Oh yeah.
So we don't have to be too, because we can do everything inside there, cooking, setting up tents, camp, because we have your lights, and then you know we also have the protection of the shelter.
Yeah.
So that it's enclosed light. So I mean, we could be up as long as we really need to.
You want to try it again right here?
Let's keep going. Oh no! He came up and nosed it. Let's go! Get a load of this bloke.
Nice little dinker.
Little dinker. Got him out of the back of the pool.
That looks awesome.
So cool.
I got you.
Maybe? I don't know where he went. Oh, there he goes. See ya. Not very smooth, but we got him. Take a couple steps forward. Really try and hit that left side riffle section. That looks nice. Oh! Set! That was so cool. I saw him come out there and just slam it. And that's barbless. Be careful. Get that hook. Get that rod up. Get that rod up.
Alright.
You're good. Yes, dude. That was so sick. I saw him on that side.
Yeah, I saw him.
That was so cool. There it is. All right. Look at nice. Adipose. Incredible. Come on, buddy. Oh. Between the legs. Keep going. Good stuff. Ow. As we kept the pace upstream, it felt like we were finally starting to get into a good groove. And just looking down at the rocks and the water, I mean, it was clear to see why these Gila browns were so eager to munch our dry flies. The quantity and quality of the food in this riparian corridor must be what's making this rare population of browns so healthy. Oh, he got off that little rat. Ugh.
Gorgeous.
So good, man.
They all have that red fin.
Just fired up. Alright, have you seen him back? Let's stick him right there. Oh, fine. Get out of here. Go on, get. There he goes. Yeah, there's some big fish in there. There's some big fish. That was so cool. Oh shoot, I've got the net.
That's alright.
I got him.
Got him already. Clobbered it.
Nice.
Hell yeah. That was sick.
He crushed it. That was so awesome. What do you think of that? Brown trout hopper eats.
That's sick, dude.
Not bad.
That's so awesome, man. Like, for real, this is
Worth the adventure, huh?
Oh, it was worth it. It was worth all that hike to find a cabin, to find a base camp, and
being
just,
in this.
Yeah, being able to come out here and just catch fish all day off the dries. That's what we came
I don't think
here
we've
to
caught
do.
a fish on the nymph.
No,
We really haven't.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just that.
They're terrestrials.
Yeah, it's just hot out here. I think it's just perfect for them.
Yeah. With one last fish caught off camera, we committed the most heinous crime in all of fly fishing. And no, I'm not talking about Euro nymphing. We decided to turn back towards the cabin and check out what was going on downstream. Folks, we left fish to find fish. The march back downstream, it didn't take long, and the closer we got back to the camp, the more landmarks we were able to recognize. All right, here's our first fish hole. From that point, we knew there were just a few bends and maybe a couple pools left in our way before we could see the rusty tin roof through the budding thicket of willows. Yeah, we made pretty good time. Okie doke. Everything looks like we left it, I think. A brief pause at camp was in order, but only to change the batteries and check up on the status of our gear. There was no rest for the wicked, especially with that afternoon sun starting to dip closer to the horizon. Whoa! That looks good down there, man. Oh my god, did you see him? Holy frick. Oh my gosh, real nice size. Wow. Oh yeah, this is much more doable. We should probably skip this and come back to it. This is where leaving fish to find fish started to become an issue. We rolled the dice on heading downstream of the cabin, and it was not paying off. The further down we walked, the runs were getting more narrow and impossible to approach from a stealthy angle. So, with our extra rod, I decided to tie up a double streamer rig so that we could target the deep boulder pools that we had passed by earlier. This rig was not pretty, and by no means am I proud of this approach, but we needed something punchy and heavy to fight the current of the plunge pool and get down deep to any fish holding there.
Look, we did it. Bunker.
So cheap. Well, at least, you know.
At least you got one.
At least you got one out of here. On the streamer, too.
There you got it.
Got it? Alright. Let's see him back. Thanks, friend. Well, that's kind of neat. Yeah, I couldn't tell how big that one was, the first one.
Might have been pulled off. There has to be a pulled one.
Let it sink, let it sink, let it sink. Twitch it, twitch it, twitch it. Nice. Nice. We did get skunked, dude, in the last half of the day. It was nice knowing we had both caught one more fish to finish out the day. That made this boulder scramble a bit easier to manage as we set our sights back towards camp, and it was sad to say that the fishing portion of this adventure was now very much over, and we needed to shift gears and focus on tonight's chores. Camp chores. It is time. Best time. The first and possibly the most important thing to do on the list was to change out of these wet boots and let the feet breathe a little. What a day, what a day. I mean, I guess it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world while we let the food cook and settle. It wouldn't probably, I don't know, get the fire going, help dry out our boots, because we need these things dry in the morning.
You do, you definitely do.
That's another nice thing about having this cabin is that we can leave them in, let them air out, hang them up in the rafters and stuff.
Yeah, there's plenty of like stuff to
hang in space.
I didn't bring any other shoes, so this is...
You! Let the puppies sing. Oh yeah, that feels good. The overwhelming feeling of euphoria is hitting me right now. This is awesome, man.
Yeah, I was...
Like, it doesn't get much better. Oh. This is how crunchy I am, dude. I've got socks with toe holes. Check that out, so I can wear my sandals. This is like a new level of crunchy for me.
Damn, he's coming up.
Now with comfortable feet, we could really dive headfirst into camp chores. Getting our wet clothes and shoes hung up to dry for the morning hike out was next on the list, followed swiftly by getting the tent set up. The reason we decided to stay inside the tent, inside the cabin, was because of the mice that live in and around structures like this. They can carry pretty nasty diseases. Diseases that come from contact with rodent urine or feces. So, sleeping in an enclosed tent kept us from inhaling any of the excrement particles that may be in the dust, as well as physically keeping the mice off of us during the night. But with sleeping arrangements all figured out, there was nothing left to do besides making a fire and cooking up some dinner. So while I got the jet boil rolling, Matt effortlessly started a lovely little fire. And the speed and intensity at which this dead desert wood burns is quite astonishing and slightly unnerving at times. So if you do decide to make one, be sure to manage it responsibly from the beginning to the end. It's something to keep in mind because just one stray coal could be devastating in an area like this.
Sir. Cheers. Oh yeah, it's quite the day.
Dinner was nothing short of a treat, and while we let the food settle, I think it's important to talk a little bit about the history of this little canyon as well as the Gila National Forest as a whole. Like you have heard a million times, this is Skunk Johnson's Mountain Man cabin, but not much seems to be known about this mysterious character, and using context clues, we can kind of gather a lot about this area and can kind of get a better understanding of who he might have been from historical events happening around this time. To start, the region itself is home to thousands of mining and homesteading sites just like this one in what is now considered the Gila National Forest, but human impact dates much further back than these crusty old prospectors. Historians have found that this region was once inhabited by many different Paleo-Indian cultures well before modern Native American tribes moved into the area. Then it's all changed from Imperial Spain to Mexico and then eventually the United States. With so many different changes of power between these tribes as well as European invaders, the area never got overutilized, and in a lot of ways, what the wilderness was still is. However, at the turn of the century, the US did attempt to tame and utilize the Gila. So bringing the focus back in on Skunk Johnson, we know that he was a prospector that followed the rush to the area in the early 1900s. There were a few mining sites close to the cabin and another dozen sites sprinkled throughout the canyon as you moved upstream. So, inferring that he truly was a miner, we can safely assume that he did not strike it big and pull out the riches that he thought might have been there. Plus, the mining fervor in the area, it would not last long because in June of 1924, almost 800,000 acres were set aside to create the Gila Wilderness. And over the next few years, thousands more were added to create the Gila National Forest, which halted all industrial development in this unique corner of the United States. So, with all this known, I feel like my research ended with more questions than answers. Why did Skunk plant the orchard? Why did he put such effort to build permanent structures? Did something happen to him? Did something happen to his claim? Who brought the brown trout to this remote stream? Was his name really Skunk Johnson? So, even though all these questions leave me a bit unsatisfied, I suppose it adds a bit of magic and mystery to this adventure.
Well, Matt, we're out of firewood, and our boots are still soaking wet. What do you have to say for yourself?
No, we'll just have to go inside the house and go get some sleep, dude. I'm tired.
Do what Skunk Johnson would do,
Yeah,
and sleep.
Yeah, do what Skunk Johnson would do, man. I'm tired. I mean, I don't want to go to bed because it's still like light out.
It's still really nice. Folks, the trip is not over yet. We still have a hellish hike out of here, so definitely stick around and watch us suffer for that. But we're about done here with camp. The moods, the trout brains are at a maximum. Tired level is at, I would say, 11.
Yep.
So
We're 12.
we're 12. We're gonna wind this down and go to meet the Sandman. So we'll see you in the morning.
Once we crawled into the tent, the occasional creak of loose tin roof or the scurry of a confused mouse was all that we heard until the morning alarm sounded off.
Good morning.
Morning.
We made it.
We did make it.
We didn't get cursed by Skunk Johnson.
No, we didn't.
The canyon chill was nipping harder than expected, and to say that we were moving slow would have been very generous, but we eventually got the ball rolling and bid our abandoned Mountain Man oasis a farewell and began the dreaded hike back. And The double-edged sword of bringing a camera along for these adventures is that you get to immortalize something like this and you will always have proof to look back on. But the issue is that the lens will never do it justice. This hike out was no joke, folks. The switchbacks we flew down earlier were now really testing our endurance, but we kept the pedal down, and before we realized it, our brown trout and apple orchard paradise was now just a distant waypoint buried in a sharp canyon. So we're almost at the high point?
Yeah. So we have about this little stretch of hiking before we'll start descending along this.
Just flying down.
We'll do a couple more series of switchbacks, and it's all just downhill from there.
Sweet, man.
So we're pretty much at the high point. I mean, if not a couple more feet above here.
Yeah.
So
let's get it. We could finally feel the trail dropping as our boot pace picked up considerably. Elevation plummeted with each step, and I could feel a familiar sensation beginning to bubble up in the pit of my stomach. The sense of accomplishment and real satisfaction made my sore back and burning legs completely numb. The electric feeling that comes from an adventure like this is the proverbial dragon I am chasing further and further into the backcountry and seemingly into the unknown. And being able to share this with someone like Matt, it forges friendships into brotherhoods and cements these memories in your mind. Train to perform at your best, research to be prepared for the worst, and appreciate anyone willing to stand by your side and suffer just the same. When you touch down at the trailhead, you are stepping out of the wilderness and knocking on the doors of Valhalla. Ride this high as long as you can and always be looking for that next dragon to chase. Well, howdy folks, if you are seeing this, then that means Matt and I made it out of the canyon. Oh, and by the way, if you haven't followed Matt yet, get on it. What are you guys doing? But folks, as always, thank you so very much for sticking around for these videos and watching them all the way through. It really does mean a lot, and I guess it helps this weird YouTube algorithm thing. And speaking of helping the algorithm, the more you guys like and comment and even subscribe, it all goes into this weird thing and it helps this channel grow. And it's been growing like a damn weed. So I'm so happy to see that. I'm so glad you guys enjoy this. And yeah, folks, wherever you find yourself, be it in the middle of the Gila or in your backyard, I sure hope you're keeping those feet in the water. And until next time, tight lines.